Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a Rubik's Cube using the Petrous method. As I'm sure you know, the Petrous method was a speed cubing method back in around 1981 and was created by Petrus. Now this was one of the best speed solving methods back in those times, as nobody really discovered any new stuff like algorithms and stuff. So everybody went along with the Petrous method, and this basically brought speed cubing to life. This started speed cubing, and then they discovered like C-Fort, Brew and ZZ, which then made speed cubers more faster. But anyway, in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a Rubik's Cube using the Petrous method. So let's get into it. Number 1, the 2x2 block. So the first thing you want to do is create a 2x2 block, and basically what I mean by this is we find white. You could do it on any cross colour, but I'm just going to start off with white. We find an edge, and if it's not there, we just insert it. For example, I can insert this one like so. But anyway, once you've done that, just align it to the correct centre, like so, and you should have this. Now, the next thing we're going to do is create another white edge piece, but it's adjacent to it. So for example, I see blue, and I can insert it like so. So you're basically like doing a cross, but only doing half of it and not the other two. Now the next thing we're going to do is create an F2L pair, so the blue and red one in this case, and put it in here to create a 2x2 block. So I see this one, so these two, so I could just do it like so, like I would do in F2L to create a 2x2 block, which is good. So now I'm going to do another example of how to create another 2x2 block. Okay, in the next example, trying to create the 2x2 block and the white centre, so I'm going to insert this one in here, align it to the correct centre, so we've got orange and white, then create one that's adjacent to it. So I can't do red because of that's opposite, so I want one adjacent to it. So I see green, so I can insert it into here, like this, and then align it to create this. Put it on the bottom and then create that F2L pair. So it's over here, so what I can do is just do an R2. Make sure you don't break this up, and now I've got a case which I can do in F2L. And if you're not familiar with how to do it, you can either do beginner's method, like inserting the corner and then doing it like beginner's method, or you could just do the F2L case. And remember, since you're only creating a 2x2 block, you can use end moves, but you make sure you put it back, and you can use a lot more free stuff like you would in Rue. Number 2, extending the block. Okay, now once you've done the 2x2 block, we're going to extend it onto another square. So see this square? We're just going to extend it, or this square, until it's a lot more better. So what we can do is create another adjacent one. So I can insert blue, like so, and that creates 3 cross pieces, and we've still got the block. Make sure you do not disturb this block, and we just then create another F2L pair like over here. So we create this massive whole block. So we create another one, so it is the orange and blue, so we look for the orange and blue, and it's over here. So what I can do is bring it up. It didn't affect anything, so that's fine. So then I can just solve this pair either using beginner's method or C-Fort with F2L. So I can just hide the corner because of it's not affecting anything, U2, and then bring up the corner, and that sets it up in order to insert. So you could use a lot more fancy finger tricks, and there we go. Now we've created a much bigger block extending from that 2x2 into this hole, so it's like half the second layer. Number 3, EO line. So now this is one of the most trickiest stages in Petrous method, and what we're going to do is take this massive block and put it to the back. Once they're all at the back, now we're going to do something called EO line. And what that basically means is turn all these bad edges into good edges. So what I mean by this is I'm just going to show you. So whatever centre you're facing, if you're facing blue, green or orange or red, make sure you know it, okay? And we're going to try and turn all the good edges. In this case, we're facing red. We're going to try all the bad edges into good edges, and the bad edges that either have, we're going to turn them into either have yellow, white red or orange on the top. Okay, now this part is a little bit tricky, so make sure you follow along. So these ones are good edges because they have yellow, because of their part of the yellow cross, aren't they? So these two are good. And to know if the top layers are good is because they're facing upwards. So if these two are good because of their yellow or white. So now let's move on. In order to find out if the edge pieces that go into here or here are good, is whatever colour you're facing. So in this case, it is red. Is red on top? Yes, so that's a good edge. So we've got 1, 2, 3 good edges so far. Is this a good edge? No, it is not, because yellow is not facing the top. And we need yellow on top. That's basically what we're doing. So we know these 3 are good. This one is bad. Now to tell if they're in the front face. So we know this one is good. So now let's look at this one. So now, in this case, we need both the reds facing you. That's to determine if they're good edges. Since red is facing sideways, it is a bad edge. So this one's bad. So these two are bad so far. Let's look at this one. This one is a good edge because yellow faces us. So that's good. Now, the last one, white. Since it's got the last white one, we have to have it good. So if it's at the bottom, it needs to be facing the bottom. That's a good edge because it's in the correct spot. If white was here, it will still be good. If white was here, it will still be good. So this one's good. So far, we have got good, 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 bad, bad. So now we're going to try and transform these two into good edges. So what we can do is, since we got this case, what we can do is insert them. So if I want red on top, if by doing an F would turn that good. However, it's turned all of these ones bad. You see white's facing the side, red's facing the side, and yellow is facing you, and it should be facing the bottom if it's at this place. So we can't do F, but we can actually do this. We can actually do an F and then move, since that one's already complete, we could actually move this one over, then reverse that F. Now you notice that's changed these two. So now we've done all of the bad edges into good edges. So let's just check. These two are good because yellow's facing up. Since we're facing the red center, we need red on top. Red's on top, yellow facing you, and white should be at the bottom. And there we go. Now once we've done the all EO line, if you don't have two bad edges, what you can do is just trial and error, do a bunch of F, U, F primes, and it should eventually solve. I'll do more examples of that later. Now, we're going to solve the next two F2L pairs. If you haven't, make sure you insert that last one, like so. And if you have the white one facing here, I'll teach you how to do that. You can't just insert it with wide U's because that will affect it, or D, as that would affect it as well. So once you've got it inserted, so if it was over here, you could just insert it. Now we're going to move on to some of the F2L pairs. Now here's the rule. You cannot use any F moves, or F moves, or B moves. You can only use R, R prime, L, L prime, U, and U prime moves. So I can solve this case, like so. And then this case, like so. So only using R moves. And now you notice that it's actually preserved all the yellow edges on top, which means you have a good case. In this case, it's a soon. We've done the second layer, so we could just do a soon and then PLL. So now I'm going to do one more example solve of the whole thing. So now let's do an example solve. So there's not many steps to this. The last part, you just do the last layer however you like. ZBLL or COLL or just all L and PLL. So that should be pretty standard. So I'm going to just do an example solve. So I'm going to insert green and then insert orange. Now create the pair. So I find the edge and the corners over here. So I can pair these up by just doing a U2 RUR. There we go. And I could just insert this block. Bunch of L moves over there, so then I'll just keep this block over at the back, and I prefer doing that as it doesn't really affect anything. Now in this state I don't want to do blue, but instead I'll do the red one, so I'll just insert that red one. Then I'll create the red and green as well pair into here, so I see this one, so I could just do it like so. Once done, then I'm going to put both the blocks at the bottom, at the back, and now we're going to do ear line, so we just identify good edge because of yellow is facing top, water facing blue, so make sure you don't get mixed up with this. Last time I was facing red, this time I was facing blue. So now we need the blue edges on top, not the red, just remember that. So good, and yellow and white's the same, so good because of blue's facing the top, good because it's facing the top, bad, yellow's facing not the top, bad because of yellow's facing side, good because white's facing towards us, and this one's good because of it's facing downwards. So now we can just trial and error. So I can see that I've got how many bad edges? 2. So I can do U, put over here, and then F, U, F. There you go. Since I got 2, now they should be all good. So these 2 good, these 2 good, these 2 good, and yellow's facing the bottom, so that's good. So now I can't just insert this, I can only use R, R prime, L, L prime, U, and U prime. So I can take it out and insert with an F2. Now make sure if you're inserting with an F2, I said no F moves, but it's okay if it's an F2, because that reverse, no singular F moves, because of that transforms all of them bad, but if you do one more, it makes them all good again, so it goes good, bad, and then good. So make sure you're only allowed to do F2 as well. Just no single F moves, that's all it is. So then these 2, I can do it like normally, and then these 2, I can do it normally. Okay, then all L and P L. And there you go, that's how to solve a Rubik's Cube using the Petrous method. Hope it wasn't too hard to follow, and for now, see ya.